Daddy, can I take out the Cadillac? Please, please, Daddy, can I take out the Cadillac? I'm going down the street and I swear I'll be right back. Hey there, baby, did you see my new automobile? Hey there, baby, did you see my new automobile?
My name is Bobby Newton, musician, vocalist, entertainer, you name it. Well, actually, I didn't really start out being a musician per se. I started out singing with a group of guys, 5 other guys in church. We did like spirituals and things of that nature. We sang at various churches and places in Philadelphia. We sang at the Met in Broad and Popular Street, where it has a real large stage, almost big enough for a skating rink. So I sang there, and churches down through the South. Such groups such as Sam Cooke and the Soul Stirrers, the Dixie Hummingbirds, the Blind Boys of Mississippi, various spiritual groups like that. Well, I lived in New Jersey for a while, and then I came to visit some of my relatives that live here in Reading, and I just never went back to New Jersey, only to visit. Reading has a lot of different people that reside here. It's somewhat of a melting pot of all types of nationalities. And it's been quite an influx of Spanish people that live around the area now, which made me try to learn how to speak a little Spanish to keep up. Well, you know what? Basically, when we go to a club or any place to perform, the old question is, what kind of music you play? So my response is that we play everything. We play everything except hard rock. We even do country and western. I even yodel, like they do in Nashville. I profess to be the only black guy in America that yodels like they do in Nashville. And I do that sometime on some of my shows. I did record for Atlantic and Mercury Records like in the 70s. Recorded a record called There's an Island on Atlantic Records. And I did several TV shows. I appeared with Cliff Nobles and Johnny C., who recorded Boogaloo Down Broadway and The Horse. So after that, I was in a couple bands. I performed with a group called the Saxons back in the late 60s before I recorded. And we traveled all over the country playing music in Boston, Nova Scotia, Montreal, and various clubs close to Reading. My personal advice would be to study hard at your craft, what you plan to do. If it's singing or playing an instrument. If you're playing an instrument, you know, a lot of people, they hate to practice. But if you want to be good and be professional, you have to practice. No matter what type of instrument you pick up and you want to play, you bring it home and sit it in a corner, it'll never play by itself. So you gotta pick it up and practice, no matter how hard it seems to be. Right now, I still practice. You know, I rehearse with my band like twice a week, you know, to keep the band tight so that everybody knows what's going on. The worst thing is to be in a band where you don't know what's really happening when you're playing a song. This guy may be going that direction, this guy may be going there. It's what you do compatibly together that makes the band sound great.
Hey, I'm Drew, drummer, singer for Drew and the Blue. It'll be 2 years in April. Yeah, so it'll be 2 years in April that we've been a collective band, because we definitely jammed for about 3 years, just Taylor and I. So just a duo, but then Mandy got on board. It's very rock and roll. That's always the way I describe it. It's the easiest way to describe it for me. Just because the start of it for me, like Drew and the Blue started at Mike's Tavern on a Wednesday night. Went in, it was just us two at the time.
Yeah, I guess starting with open mics. I mean, he had approached me. We've known each other and actually been playing for years. And I mean, we've known each other since what, like first grade.
Yeah.
So off and on, we just and then just started jamming around 6th or 7th grade again. And so it's been a long journey and a great one, of course. But yeah, so he just approached me and just wanted to start doing some stuff with like some old blues music and older rock and roll. And it was just us actually initially when we started, just as a duo. And we just started hitting some open mics in the area, like Mike's Tavern, of course.
The big one.
The Northeast Tap Room. Yeah, and it just kind of like sort of the snowball effect. And we started playing out, people started to get to know us, hear us, and then, hey, you should play here, you should play here. And so it just kind of all started from that.
We rehearsed, I don't know, we got together like, 3 or 4 times, and then I was like, well, let's just play an open mic and see how that feels. And go to Mike's Tavern, and it's all acoustic guitar players, and we really have no business there. But I brought drums, and it was okay. But either way, we got asked to open, and from there, somebody saw us to the next one, and like, thankfully, people are nice enough to reach out.
Reading is kind of a place that isn't really super well known, but it's, in my opinion, I think Reading is a really nice hole in the wall where you don't expect to see a huge scene, but there really is a huge art scene, and there are all different kinds of genres of music. I play in a sinfonietta, and we play orchestra concerts, and there are a lot of bands like us, there are a lot of singer-songwriter bands. So it's really nice because there have been multiple circumstances where we had a gig and we had no idea who we were opening for, and it ended up we met a band that we never expected to meet. We had a couple of singer-songwriters where like we didn't necessarily set the bill together, but it was still pretty cool because it introduced us to new groups of musicians.
This is home base for us. I mean, we grew up in Muhlenberg Township right outside of the city there, so this is kind of what we've always known and stuff. And it's just a really cool local scene. There's like a lot of great acts, a lot of other great musicians playing here and stuff. And there's just a lot of good opportunities, I guess, to get out and play music. And you have, of course, the Jazz Fest, the Blues Fest, the Rockabilly, or the Country Fest, I should say, is what that was part of in the summer then. So just a lot of different things happening here, and it's kind of a nice little hub, nice little niche.
What's cool is in Reading, if you are here enough to find out, you'll see in each genre of music that we have like a competent band or bands in that genre. Like, there is a reggae band not too far from here. We're a rock and roll band. There's a bunch of other rock and roll bands. There's like electronic stuff, indie stuff. We played Downtown Alive with Southern Culture on the Skids, which is like sort of, I don't know if they call themselves like hillbilly rock and roll, a little bit of surf, and however they put it, but we opened for them. And down there on Penn Street is just everybody. It's moms, dads, it's like, it's the classic rock scene, the punk scene, the whatever guys, like, people, everybody's there with their camera, and it's just like, you get all kinds of people, and it's been really amicable. The fastest thing for me was playing an open mic and finding out that you're surrounded with people who have all connections. And they're mostly all good people, you know what I mean? So that was the fastest way to get any kind of noise out there. There's like more and more fest scenes every year, between Downtown Live, between like Fall Fest, between the bar scene, like competing with each other and having great bands play every weekend. Not really much to say, as long as you're just playing in the same room together, playing music. You only have to play, in my eyes, a few gigs till you've almost met like half the scene. So if you just go to 1 or 2 shows, you have a hard time not like tripping into somebody who can throw a gig, or throw you a gig, or you can jam with. Everybody knows everybody, and everybody's looking to help out. From the oldest people who are helping us out to just the up and comers. Everybody's like, yeah, the camaraderie for sure. I think that's what it is. It's a beautiful city. That's it.